I shouldn't have re-downloaded that, man. I've already seen too much shit. Of course, going on there like, right after the U.S. loss, I'm seeing people threaten people who call it soccer instead of football.
I mean, the USA made a bet that if the United States won the World Cup, it's officially called soccer. So
yeah, but I mean, like they're threatening people who call it soccer.
That's their fault.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it wasn't America that invented the word soccer, but they'll never accept that. They just won't. They call us hostile, yet they do that. All right, let's get this started.
Speaking about the World Cup, well, first off, let's do the introduction. Hi, my name is Naoki. This is my friend Jeffrey Long, aka Bacon.
Hey guys.
And welcome to the Grilled Sports Podcast. I think first thing we're gonna get into is of course the World Cup.
Yeah, obviously.
Who do you think has been the biggest surprise nation, and who do you think has been just the most upsetting one?
I'd say like the biggest surprise that I've seen the entire World Cup so far was Saudi Arabia taking down Argentina 2-1.
Oh yeah,
I did not see that coming one bit.
They played insane offside trap, like forcing Argentina offside so many times. I've never seen Messi get so mad.
Yeah, like, seeing that game, like I saw highlights of it, and I just remember all the offside calls. And I used to not understand why people hated the offside rule so much. Now I understand why people hate that rule.
Because the defenders can literally make it offside on purpose.
They can do that, which yeah, a lot of teams, like a lot of people I've spoken to about that, they've said, they should just get rid of that rule, or they should adjust it to make sure. But then again, how can you adjust that rule? And if you get rid of it, when are people going to start abusing it?
Yeah, that's true.
It's a double-edged sword, so there's really no solution to it.
But I'm gonna be honest, I think. Okay, sorry. I think my biggest surprise was Japan winning their group.
Oh yeah, and taking down Germany.
Yeah, it was Spain, Germany, and Costa Rica. Costa Rica's not really an amazing team, but they still beat Japan. And
they still pulled it off.
But did you see Japan's game-winning goal against Spain?
It was a beauty.
Like, how... Like, everyone was asking how that wasn't out. It was because the ball was millimeters on the line. And if it's on the line...
What people don't need to remember about this is that the ball has to be 100% out of bounds in order for it to be called out. And it was by a hair that it was still in bounds, and they took full advantage of that.
Yeah, I have no expectations for them. I don't think they're going to beat Croatia, but if they do, hats off to them.
Oh, boy. Croatia's probably never going to hear the end of it.
But I think the most confusing one was, for a lot of people, was how Uruguay got eliminated from
because of South Korea.
Yeah, from South Korea. And to explain that, it's actually called the fair play rule.
Okay.
They add up all the yellow cards, yellow yellows, yellow reds, straight reds, and all those, and subtract points, and whoever has the most negatives is out. And Uruguay
that's what we saw with Mexico.
This.
That cost Mexico a trip to the tournament.
Actually, the reason Mexico lost was because of Saudi.
Oh yeah, right.
They scored that one goal. Because if they would have gone to fair play, then Mexico would have won.
But nope, didn't happen.
Nope, because Saudi scored, and according to the Mexico coach, he said as soon as that buzzer went off, I knew that I was going to get fired.
Oh, yeah, I remember him saying about that. He said, like, his career was over the moment that whistle went.
Yeah. I don't think I've
heard just not having it.
Poetic answer to that. Like, I feel bad for him. It's an amazing team. They have a brick wall of a goaltender saving that beautiful shot by the I believe it was Polish shooter.
Yeah, and all that hard work is going to be for nothing. They're not going to go into the tournament. They're not going to possibly win the cup. They're not going to advance. They're not going to score any more sick goals. They have to go home.
Yeah,
that's for any team. Like any team, it sucks to see like they work hard just to lose. Like that sucks.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Especially when you realize your career is over the moment the official puts his mouth on the whistle.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think also another big surprise was the fact that Ghana didn't make it.
Oh yeah, Ghana also didn't make it.
Yeah, they
I didn't
played
even remind them.
outstanding. I thought it was gonna be Ghana going in. I thought a lot of like the African teams were going in, but no, it's been
No,
almost the opposite. Like, yeah, congratulations to Senegal getting seconds, but they have to play England.
them like they have to play the English, and that's a challenge in itself.
Yeah, and then the only other team I remember was Morocco winning their group with 2 wins. Oh yeah, that's funny. No team scored got more than 2 wins. No team.
Oh yeah, the Morocco winning their group. I think that was the first time since the '90s that an African team has won their group.
I think that might be.
So that's a huge moment for them,
That's actually
obviously, and
the
for the
first
continent.
time for Japan to win their group since '02. So it's been
Oh,
20 years since Japan has
oh,
won their group.
oh man.
I mean, props to them making it. Like, holy.
Yeah, hats off. You make it, you make it.
And going past the group stage, actually, no, let's talk about Qatar and Canada for a second. I
Oh boy.
I
Here we go.
I am just sad for them. Like Qatar, they're the host city. You have a lot of expectations, so I understand folding under those expectations. But
The
Canada,
moment they banned beer, I knew they were going down.
but Canada, oh
No,
Canada,
their home and native land.
what
Yep.
happened?
I could think of James on TikTok. He's like, Canada, what happened? Like kind of like that.
No,
Whenever
what
I
I
saw
imagine
that,
right now is Steve Dangle going, "What are you doing?"
oh yeah, Steve Dangle running up his wall, freaking
Yeah,
out,
because
waking up his neighbor.
only 2 goals for. Actually, technically, only 1 goal for, because the only other goal that was scored for you was an own goal by Morocco.
Oh yeah, that did happen,
That is
dude.
sad.
I understand. Like a lot, I know a few Canadians in my Discord, and from other interactions, they've said, well, it's not their sport. It's ice hockey. That's their thing.
Well, lacrosse
But
too. They're two
or
sports, man.
lacrosse, yeah,
Lacrosse and
lacrosse.
hockey.
Sorry, lacrosse guys, we can't forget them.
Yeah,
But
cannot, or else maybe cancel
please
culture
don't
will
hit.
get us. Ooh.
Please don't hurt us. But yeah, like that's heartbreaking. Like, but
Yeah.
also like a huge. So I'd say, like you said, the biggest surprise was Saudi Arabia taking down Argentina. I'd say the biggest upset was Qatar, because I mean that was a huge letdown.
Qatar wasn't even prepared. They just threw together a squad. Like
They were
you
eliminated
could put
after
some
2 games.
16-year-olds on like the Ecuador team and they'd beat the Qatar team.
They were eliminated after 2 games.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
being dead
Same
serious.
thing with Canada. They were eliminated after 2 games. Any
But
team
when
who
you're
had
the
two
host
straight
country, you
losses
have all
were
this.
statistically eliminated.
They were done. Like, bye bye, going back home now.
Yep. And I think another surprising team was Group D, Tunisia.
Hey, let me go ahead and look at that on my computer. I want to make sure I know what I'm talking about before. Oh, this, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tunisia.
Tunisia came out of nowhere and defeated the juggernauts in France.
Yeah, the World Cup champions of 2018, France. I thought they were going to get
The
hit by
France.
the curse. I was wrong, and I'm happy I was wrong. But
They put up some close matches though. I mean, the other matches they've lost were like within 1 goal, I think. Yeah, I mean they lost.
there it was
They beat
nil.
France in
Yeah, it was
they
0-0 against Denmark, and then 1-0 lost to the Aussies, and then beat France 1-0.
Yeah, so it's basically just like either 1 goal's gonna get scored or no goals are gonna get scored.
Yeah, that was kind of their group stage, but
Oh man!
I
And
think
then
the
the
stat.
French just
I think
dominated
the
everyone
stat.
else.
I'm think okay. A lot of people are not going to be happy to say this. I'm happy the United States got eliminated first round. I'm going to
I'm
say it.
not associating with this guy. I'm done. Yeah.
I'm only going to say it because how the fuck do you draw with Wales?
Even the English fans like say, dude, like they drew with Wales. I'm like, look, I mean, yeah. Do I know much about the country of Wales? No, All I know is that they have a cool dragon on their flag, which I think is awesome.
Bhutan has the same thing. What are you talking about?
But I mean, am I sad that we lost? Yeah. I mean, congrats to the Netherlands. Obviously, good game. Got to be a good
Cody
sport.
Gakpo. Oh my goodness, Cody Gakpo.
But
He
I
didn't
mean,
score, but still, Cody Gakpo.
Cody, man. But seeing seeing them lose, like, yeah, it's gonna suck. But I mean, again, like, it was a nasty, like, just draw, and then we won. So I mean, like, we got in with the skin of our teeth,
Yeah,
and
we won by
Wales got a
one
thanks for
goal.
coming
Shocker.
participation award. I think the biggest part of the tournament for us was either drawing against the English or beating the Iranians.
I think draw against the English was definitely our big moment.
Yo, yeah,
Because
because
everyone was like,
we
English,
walked
English
in.
are going to upset them. They're going to go down. And I'm like, and we're just like, no.
No. And then for like a lot of British people were saying, why does this feel like a loss, right? Even though they didn't actually lose. Here's why this feels like a loss. Right? If the English formed an American football team, right, and they walked in the middle of and they came in and they played Alabama and they tied, how does that make us feel? That makes us feel
That
like
feels
crap.
like a win, honestly.
No, man. But the thing is, that's their sport. They created this sport. At least we think it's believed they did. It's still debated. So, like, if they came into our country and played like they
Oh,
played American football, and they tied, then that's a huge loss for us.
Yeah, because we're like, wait, hold on.
How did they do that?
Against no, let's say against
Georgia.
prime Brady Patriots.
Before or after they were cheating?
Before they were cheating.
Or during? Nah, no cheating. Okay, we'll do after. Dude,
Let's do
that's Tom
prime
Brady.
Super Bowl winning Patriots.
Oh, those Patriots. All right. Yeah, that would
Versus
feel
a
like a loss.
random squad of British men, and they tied.
Against Tom Brady, Gronk,
Julian
Gronkowski,
Edelman.
that guy who murdered someone. But I mean, like, yeah, that's basically how it feels to the British or the English in this case. I get that mixed up. Oh
Yeah.
man, that was a very interesting time to be watching this sport.
Yeah, especially, but I think but we're gonna talk about this later after we get your predictions for the rest of this bracket. You might not know all the teams, but just take some shots in the dark if you have to.
That's what I do every single time. I'll admit.
For me, I think sadly to Japan, Croatia's going through and Brazil's going through over South Korea. You cannot beat Brazil. It is so hard.
There's this African country. I don't know if you've heard of them. They're called Cameroon. They beat them 1-0.
Oh yeah, that was the last game though, because they're playing more chill.
Yeah, who cares? But
and also they're without Neymar, and the fact they still qualify without Neymar Jr. is still insane.
That says something.
I say France over the Polska, England over Senegal, even though I hope it's Senegal over England, so England gets a taste of our medicine. Spain over Morocco, and I'm gonna have to go with Ronaldo with Portugal over Switzerland.
I'm gonna go. I think Japan and Croatia is gonna be a close match because, like, the Japanese team, they've put up some.
I actually think that might go to penalties.
It might go to penalties, or it might even just go into extra time. But
they just have penalties for their quote unquote shootout.
Oh yeah, they're doing that. But I think the Croatia is gonna get by. It's a close game, but they're gonna win it. Brazil and Korea. I mean, I think Brazil. I'm gonna stick with them. But England, Senegal. I'm gonna say 2-0 England. France, Poland. I'm gonna go. Oh man, this one I kind of want to predict an upset.
Do you think the French World Cup winning curse is gonna bite them, or do you think they're gonna pursue? That's the whole question here.
I'm like half French, So if I go ahead and betray my heritage, then it's off to the guillotine. So I'm trying to consider like
It's
I'll
very
go
hard
with
to pick
France.
either for
France by
me
one
because
goal.
there's a
It's gonna be
Polish exchange student in my French class.
well. Then it sucks to be them because it's gonna be the French. But I'm gonna say France is gonna win, but it's gonna be by one goal, and it might just only be a 1 goal game the entire game.
That's a fair one. What about Morocco, Spain, and Portugal, Switzerland?
Spain and Portugal.
But I feel like Morocco's going to keep it close to Spain, may even go to penalties.
They might.
Because
If
Morocco
they
is an
did,
insane team. They've been forming a squad. But I asked my history teacher, like I called him up and I was like, "Yo, who do you think's gonna win?" He said, "Brazil's gonna come from our side of the bracket, and probably either France or Portugal is gonna come from the other side."
That's a fair prediction.
It is indeed.
I can't argue that.
It is.
Let's see what else we have. Oh yeah, complete the first round.
Yeah. Lionel Messi scored again.
Oh, thank God! Yeah, I saw the replay.
Shots were 14-5
happy.
in favor of Argentina. Only 5 on target for Argentina and 1 on target for Australia. But remember what I said about own goals?
Yeah, the own goal.
Enzo Fernandez own goal to give Australia their one single goal.
Well, that's not good.
At the 77th minute, too.
Yeah, that guy's definitely getting yelled at on the way to the locker room. I think they're all getting yelled at in the locker room.
But luckily, it was 2-0 already, so
it was basically it.
But I think the very controversial thing for me was that Messi wasn't subbed off the entire game.
Oh, yeah, true.
You have to sub him off eventually. You can't just overuse him. Like Portugal's at least smart and sits Ronaldo eventually.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're using your star player over and over and over and over again, then he's gonna run out of energy eventually. It's just how the body works.
Yeah.
You never know. He could be running on the pitch, and next thing you know, he gives out. He's done. He can't go anymore. He's too tired.
Or he could get injured like Neymar.
Oh yeah, Neymar. Yeah, he could do that. But we'll know what he'll be doing during his time being injured. He'll be playing Call of Duty as himself with the new bundle.
Or he could be in any other of his sponsored games.
Oh yeah, true.
Because I'm pretty sure he's in like Mech Arena as well.
Like imagine hopping on Call of Duty after a long day of work to relax, which no one's ever done in the first place, and then you get teabagged and then get called a slur by Messi. Like imagine that, like you get your body shot and teabagged, and then you get called a slur by Messi. I mean, that's basically what COD's at this point.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's probably happened to someone. Oh no.
Let's see. I think honestly, US played to the best of their ability. There's not much they could have done.
Yeah. No, that's basically all that to it. I mean, they played their best, and sometimes the best is not enough. And today, the best was not enough.
Mm-hmm.
They can go home with that in their heads. Again, congrats to the Netherlands. Good luck against, Argentina.
Hey, good luck. So, Cody Gakpo, good luck against Messi.
Yeah, absolutely, because I don't want to go against that. I don't want to do that.
I don't think anybody would have.
No. Unless you're Germany. Oh, wait, they're not here.
Yeah.
The Germans are gone. Surprisingly. World Cup pretty much covered.
I think NHL is definitely a good one to talk about.
All right. So I remember you were wanting to talk about Bennington.
Yeah, especially from you, a Blues fan's perspective.
All right. Well, I did some looking while we were waiting. I mean, he's 9-8-0 as of this recording, which is December 3rd. They are about to play the Penguins. I don't know if he's starting, but I mean, it's in no definition a star level of stat. I mean, he's just barely above that 500 mark. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think a lot of people put him up on a huge pedestal after what happened in 2019 with that cup run, which, and it's not surprising that they do that. It's kind of like what we saw in IndyCar with Jimmy Johnson. I mean, like, he's 7-time champion. He switches over from NASCAR to IndyCar, and they put him up on his pedestal thinking he's going to win all the time. And unfortunately, he didn't. And that's kind of what we're seeing with Bennington. They remember what happened in 2019 and think, oh, yeah, he's capable of doing this, but he's not capable of doing it anymore. Therefore, he's washed up. And that's not necessarily true. So is he performing bad? I wouldn't say no, because to me it's kind of a team effort. Because if the goalie's going to take more shots facing him, then obviously more are going to go in, because you kind of need some help with the defense. But is he struggling a little bit? Not, I don't think the full blame goes to him, but yeah, he isn't what he used to be in 2019. I'll admit that any day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the biggest thing about him is obviously, like, I'll just bring up the water bottle. Like, that we'll bring that up just for a little bit. He can be a bit of a hothead. I'll just be very honest. But then
Never
again,
touch the
like,
goalie's bottle.
true, like throwing a bottle so hard it probably goes into orbit. But I mean, like, it's not surprising that you get a hothead every once in a while. That's all I'll say on it. He can be a bit of a hothead sometimes, but as of recent, he seemed to have calmed down. And plus, there's no more water bottles out there.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's a huge plus.
I mean, yeah, to be honest, Binner has been put on this giant pedestal because of how great he performed in that 2019 run. And yeah, fair enough. I mean, he's an outstanding goaltender, but I just don't think that he deserves to be put on a pedestal like that until you see multiple years of performance like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, kind of like when I mentioned Jimmy Johnson earlier. Like, he's won the cup. He's won a NASCAR championship 7 times. That ties like the all-time record. So of course people are gonna see all
He
those years
was
of
the Lewis
performance.
Hamilton of NASCAR, basically.
Yeah, exactly. They put him up on this huge pedestal because they see all these years of excellent performances and championships and everything, and they think, oh, well, he's going into IndyCar, a completely different discipline, and just think, oh, he's going to perform really well. And, like, he
It
didn't.
wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad at all. I mean, could have been better, absolutely. But I mean, it's not like, absolutely horrible. He still beat a bunch of people in the standings. Don't get me
It wasn't like Danica Patrick bad.
Yeah, he wasn't like Danica Patrick bad. But I mean, he did lead a few laps in the Indy 500. He did get
Yeah,
an
because
amazing
it's
top
oval.
five
It's oval
in
shit.
Iowa. Yeah, top 5 finish in Iowa. I mean,
Pretty
like,
sure he had a pretty good finish in Texas too.
true, yeah, to the point where the commentators were stunned. They're like, "Look at this, Jimmy Johnson flying through the field." So I mean, like, yeah, there is some, and then of course he retires part time. He's not gonna race full time anymore. So, well, but he did say he is going to be in the Daytona 500, and he may come
Well, that's
back
gonna
to
be
Indy.
exciting to see.
Imagine if he just wins the Daytona 500 again. Just
Oh my
imagine, like,
god, Jimmy
he's not on a
Johnson
team.
gets to
He doesn't go full time. And he's like, yeah, I'll just go into this race. Why not? And then just effing wins it.
cry. All those Alex Bowman fans are gonna start crying.
Dude, Bowman. I mean, like, that's that. Here's the thing. Like, after Johnson, retired, I was tasked with trying to find a new driver to root for. Right.
I think a lot of people chose Bowman because he hopped in the 48.
I have respect for Bowman. I mean, like, yeah, he could be like, there are some cons, but I mean, like, I still haven't picked a full, like, a driver to back yet. It seems like everybody's just hated. Everyone hates Logano. Everyone hates Hamlin. Everyone seems to like Ryan Newman, obviously, but everyone else just seems hated. Like, I can't see it. And for IndyCar, IndyCar, I solved the IndyCar problem. Like, I'm backing Colton Herta because we're both the same age. He's young. I'm young. I mean, like, yeah, it gives me a reason to back him. But yeah, so I mean, but going back to Bennington, like, all those years of him being in, like, in the minors, and then they bring him up for the cup run and he gives the team their first cup, yeah, that's a huge achievement. But that's 1 year of and that's not even a full year, mind you. That was just like in January to June. That's like half a year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was only meant to play against the Flyers and then never again.
Yeah, pretty much. But look at what happened.
And then just the Allen. I don't know what happened, but I feel like Allen and Benner just switched abilities the next season.
Yeah, pretty much. Because again, they're like putting him up on this pedestal after what happened.
And then Allen was just suddenly this underrated goaltender that could perform.
Or just forgotten about, at least. Or even.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure nobody remembered. Like, who's Jake the Snake? Why is he on our roster?
I remember Jake the Snake because whenever we're watching the game, I could just hear "Saved by Allen" and stuff like that, and it was so hype. But then, Bennington came into town and basically stole his spot. So I would say that about Bennington. Like, is he having the best season right now? Absolutely not. But is it like abandon all hope season? Not yet, I would say, because we don't know how it's going to go.
I fucking hate you for saying that. I fucking hate you.
That's sweet.
Because you know what team I support.
I no joke, I actually forgot.
Panthers.
Moving on. Anyway. So, all right, moving on. What's our next topic to talk about before a full-on fight breaks out?
Panthers.
Okay, well, not moving on. So, I noticed the title of this podcast is "Are the Panthers Washed?"
Washed.
WARSH. Warsh. That's how I pronounce it here. Sorry.
Is it? Oh, that's how you pronounce it.
Warsh.
But I'm lucky. I'm a fucking 4-team fan because I have one team from each division.
Good point.
I have the Ducks, I have the Blues, I have the Devils, and then I have the Panthers.
What makes you like the Panthers?
Dad grew up in the South, and the closest team to him growing up was the Panthers when they released when they came out in '96, and he's cheered them on ever since. So they kind of just grew on.
That's nice.
Yeah, I started really getting into hockey around the Yager era of Florida.
Yes, Yager. The madman.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, but still cool that we had Yager on our team. Oh, yeah, that was Bobby Lou days, too.
So now for the question that this podcast title is about, are they washed? Let's go look at some stats. All my homies
I'm going to compare,
stats.
Okay, I know this is the worst thing a fan could do, but I'm going to compare last year's stats to this year's stats. Two different coaches, by the way.
That's fine.
2021, 2022. The Panthers were, of course, the President's Trophy winners. 58-18-6 after 82 games played with a 94 goal differential. They were 34-7-0 at home and 24-11-6 away, and they ended their season with 7 wins and 3 games in 3 lost games in their last 10.
Yeah.
Now let's look at this season.
I think I have a ruling now as to
11-9-4. We are like 2 overtime losses away from last year's overtime loss record, and I think only like 7 to 8 games away, like losses away from getting the same amount of losses as last year.
Yeah, last year they were amazing, and then then the playoffs happened. But
I don't think the playoffs was the reason this team was affected, honestly.
Really?
I think it was the coaching change. And then, of course, Huberdeau and Uyghur leaving to Calgary just so he could receive Kachuk. And then Marchment leaving to Dallas. Sherratt leaving to Detroit. Same thing with Robert Haig.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that Maurice just doesn't know how to fucking coach this team, honestly.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's not the best.
I feel like he's going to wheelofnames.com, putting all the players on a fucking wheel and spinning who's going to be on whose line every game.
Spin the wheel.
Like, he's taken Barkov out of the lineup multiple times, but this time Barkov's like questionably out of the lineup because I'm pretty sure he has an illness at the moment. But still, and our goal differential is definitely a one to look at, +1.
Oh yeah, true.
Ow, that hurts.
My
really
prediction for this season so far, I mean, I'm gonna put my, like that meme where people were going to go see Minions and they kind of put their fingers together on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's me right now. You can't see that, but that's me right now. I'm gonna say it now. They're mid. They're not horrible. They're not great. They're mid.
But when you're seeing it from a Florida Panthers perspective, like a Panthers fan perspective, I don't have much expectations for this team.
True.
My expectations were really low because I was like, oh, we won the President's Trophy last year. We lost a lot of key players going into this next season. I don't think we're going to be amazing. And I was right. But in the wrong
you called
sense.
it.
And everyone on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook were eyeing up this Coach Maurice, and then where did it go?
Just gone.
It just
disappeared into nothingness.
It poofed away like it was Harry Potter just disappearing with an invisibility cloak.
Just gone.
What the fuck is Maurice doing with this team? He's playing fucking hot potato with goalies. Until like yesterday when he finally basically told us by the fact that he's starting against the Kraken that Knight has now claimed the starter spot.
It's a mess.
I don't think Kachuk really fits, but he still gets the A for some fucking reason.
Yeah, he'll get that A. But yeah, that's
Barkov. Oh my god, let me talk about him. He is not the same. He's still reminiscing about Huberdeau being on the team.
He's still reminiscing about it?
He's not the same without Huberdeau. And then our defense, what is it anymore?
It's not.
Our best defenders is a grit grinder, a sniper, actually 2 snipers, and then a waiver claim. And Josh Mahura.
And that's it. That's
it. Ekblad is not performing to the expectations. I think he's still injured because remember he had a groin pull, and he's not skating like Aaron Ekblad's supposed to skate.
He's not.
And then the fact that they're not like calling up somebody in replacement for Eric Stahl, like we have some great like people down in the minors, and you're not calling them up. Like who do we have on the checkers? Let me check real quick. Who is on the Charlotte checkers? I forgot that the website's theahl.com because of
theahl.com.
Yeah, and speaking of Charlotte, they're up 3-4 over, I believe it's Lehigh Valley. Yeah, Lehigh Valley.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them.
So we have Logan Hutsko, Henry Bolby, Riley Buzo, Georgi Denisenko. Beautiful players. Zach Daup. Why is Chris Tierney in the minors?
I honestly don't know. I don't think he should be in the minors, though.
Matt Kierstead, Lucas Carlson. Motherfucking Lucas Carlson made the most outstanding save last year. And he's not even a goaltender.
He's not. He's there. He's not up in the NHL.
And then, oh my God, this hurts to say. Leo Luongo is our goaltending coach in the minors.
That last name sounds awfully familiar.
It does, which means you know that they have a goaltending experience by the fact that they fucking coaching a good goaltending squad of Alex Lyon, who played for the Carolina Hurricanes, which used to be Charlotte's affiliate. And as I'm fucking talking, Charlotte scores again.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's not looking
good. What a surprise. It's Gary Mayhew from Logan Hutsko and Chris Tierney.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the Panthers are washed.
Like, you have so many amazing players. Call them up, please.
Like they're having good players as a fallback or for an emergency, and I think this is an emergency. I'd be freaking out right now if I was in charge of the Panthers.
This is just pain.
Like, hey Panthers, you good? No.
No, we're not good at all.
No medicine can help except for calling them up.
Call players up, please. Like, call Denisenko up. Somebody.
I mean, because I
And
understand.
who did we give up? Cole Schwink?
I understand the concern of, hey, are they NHL ready or not? And that's a huge debate in itself. And that could be so long that we don't really have time for it. But yeah, there are times where it gets to the point where if you're too scared to pull the trigger, why even have the option to call them up then?
I still don't understand why we got rid of Schwint.
Yeah, that I don't understand either.
He's a prospect. Give him a chance.
Again, if you're not going to pull the trigger, then what's the point?
We gave him one chance. You want to know what that game was?
I'm assuming it wasn't good.
The one we got dominated by Montreal in at the end of the season.
Of that game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you didn't even need to tell me any more information about it. I know what you're talking about.
Let me just name some players that were on last year's roster who are still on the team, but just down in the minors. Georgi Denisenko, Zach Dalp, Alexei Heponiemi. He's still around. I mean, Ryan Lomberg was down in the minors for a while.
He was, yeah.
Oli Uelevi before we traded him to Vancouver. Matt Kierstad, Petri Lindbaum. You know him because he played for the Blues.
I do.
Marcus Nudavara.
A lot of big names on there for Florida. Gone now.
Chase Prisky. Beautiful names, right?
Yeah, beautiful, good, skillful names.
Marcus Nudavara, now on the San Jose Sharks. Chase Prisky. Oh, guess where he is? Buffalo. Oli Uelevi. He's on Anaheim now.
Yeah, Florida's going through it.
He's in the minors. Petri Lindbaum. Pretty sure he's retired.
I think he is.
Or he's just playing overseas.
Either or, yeah.
Kevin Connaughton. Oh, what a shock. He's on Philly.
Oh, now I'm really sorry for him.
Ben Sherratt. Detroit Red Wings. Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank.
Anaheim. Oh, it's
Something needs to come in and save Florida before it's too late. I think it is too late, actually, now that I think about it.
Cole Schwint. Calgary.
I like how that's like you're kind of whispering it in a way to where it's the point where you've had enough.
Dallas.
Yeah, guys, I think he's at his breaking point.
Maxime Mammon. This kid is an amazing prospect. But guess where he's gone? Russia.
To the KHL.
Mm-hmm.
That league.
Claude Giroux. Ottawa.
I forgot he's with Ottawa now. I'm not really that big a fan of the Flyers.
Duclair, guess where he is? Injury reserve.
Nolan Patrick.
It won't get me mad at you. But why'd you have to steal Achari, man? Why'd you have to steal him?
It was funny. I thought it was pretty funny.
And we had a goaltending situation, right? We had Bobrovsky, Johansson, and Knight. Johansson was garbage.
He was, yeah.
Like 6'5", 220. How can you be garbage with Ben Bishop stature?
I think to sum up this conversation, the Panthers have some issues.
I still don't understand why we didn't keep Drieger. I still don't.
I also kind of wonder why they didn't do that.
We didn't even keep Strawman.
Oh, you didn't even keep Strawman. Shit.
Nope. From 2020, we got rid of Strawman. He went to Arizona. He played a full season. We never gave Strawman a full season until 2019.
Lord save the Panthers. I'll say that now.
And he's played only 8 games in Boston. I don't think he's playing another since. But there may be some positives, you know?
Yeah, there's got to be
We
some.
have trade bait.
We do. Well, now I mean you do.
Get rid of the stalls.
I think that's something everyone can agree with.
They are dead at this point. They are basically bones skating on ice. Use them. Get some better players. And I'm going to say something that's going to piss off a lot of people. Trade Bob.
Trade Bob?
He is awful.
Yeah, that's going to piss some people off, I'm sure.
0.783 against the Blue Jackets.
Losing to the Blue Jackets there, I mean, that was
5 goals against.
I would freak out if I was in charge and we got our asses handed to by the Blue Jackets of all teams.
And he wonders why. And I feel like he has a no-move clause. But the thing is, with a no-move clause, he has to say yes or no on whether he wants to go. And I think he's going to give a good yes. And if we're going to trade somebody and retain some cap, I think the obvious choice is going to be Karel Vejmelka. That man
that might be the right choice.
That man needs no defense. He's on Arizona. Listen, that team already has no defense.
Oh, yeah, they don't.
So the fact that he has currently a .913 save percentage on the Coyotes, and Bob has a .878 on the Panthers says a lot.
That does say a lot.
But I think to sum up NHL, I'm going to say it now. Linus Ullmark, Jay Swayman is the best goaltending duo we've seen in a long time.
I agree with you. I'll agree with that.
Linus Ullmark, Jeremy Swayman, they're basically brothers at this point. Let's just say that.
They practically are. I mean, like the way they're performing and the way that they react with one another. I mean,
yeah, their celebrations, they're so fucking cute.
I do not comment on cuteness levels. I do not.
I'm surprised but I think the one player I'm surprised that Boston was able to keep was fucking Patrice Bergeron. I thought that man was going to retire.
Yeah, he just kept going. He's still
captain,
hanging up the skates.
And he's still captain, so I mean, more power to him. But let's move on to Formula One.
Yes, the sport where fans always have something to complain about.
Oh yeah. I think first off we're gonna start with the grid for next year.
All right, yeah, we got to touch up on that. There's some very notable changes, like Vettel's gone, Ricciardo's gone, Schumacher's gone. Who else is gone? A lot of people are gone.
Hold on, let me just say something. So there's a news out.
Ricciardo's back. Ricciardo has.
Yeah, he's on Red Bull as a reserve driver. But let me just say something. Apparently, the Williams tech chief says about Albon. He says he's sometimes too nice.
What do they mean by too nice? Like on the track?
Like he needs to push the team harder.
Oh yeah, because it's okay to be nice, like race clean and all that. But if you're being way too nice on that track, then you're not competitive anymore. You can't really fight for better finishes if you're being way too nice. Like staying away from people, you're not pushing too hard on the throttle, or or just not even having a good strategy.
I think he means like push the team to do better technically.
That's another way of putting it, yeah.
But let me talk about first we're going to talk about the grid, and then second we're going to talk about Sargent's driver number, what he revealed.
Number 2?
Yeah. I think we all know who comes straight to our mind when we think of number 2?
I think we can agree.
Mark Webber.
Obviously. Good old Weber. I haven't heard from him in a bit.
Yeah, because he's kind of on his own.
Oh, yeah, and Rosberg's coming back. I forgot about that.
Yeah, he's as a, I believe it, as a Formula One, like, how do I say this? He's with Sky Sports. That's what I'm trying to say.
He is, yeah. And it's been so weird because I know like him and his relationship with Hamilton. I mean, that went downhill, didn't it?
Yep.
And it's so weird now that he's back. And like Hamilton's like, oh great, this guy's back.
He's not happy.
I wouldn't blame him. I don't even know. I've always heard like, oh, they just had a falling out because they didn't get along in Formula One or something. But I know that like that feeling's got to come back. Like that, hey, this guy, I don't like this guy. He's a bit of a tool, at least to Hamilton's perspective.
But I think another big thing I want to touch on is Mick.
Yeah, that sucks. Like he got his first points in Formula One. Another Schumacher's on the grid. And I think a lot of people
get rid of him for Nico Hulkenberg.
But Hulkenberg, like, that's very painful.
But the thing is, Magnussen's giving Hulkenberg a big expectation.
True, very true.
Especially after Magnussen getting his first pole, that was amazing. Honestly,
that was a very monumental moment last season. And I think I haven't come across anyone who was upset about.
Nobody was.
No one was. Everyone was happy for Magnussen for his pole position.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get to the grid. So a lot of teams are the same.
Yeah, true.
Like Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez continuing, and it's going to continue for a while, I'm pretty sure, because Perez just signed an extension. The first Red Bull driver to sign an extension, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Since Vettel and Weber. Because remember how many teammates Max has gone through?
Yeah, he's gone through a very big amount.
He had Gasly, he had Albon, I believe he almost had Kvyat as a teammate.
I think he may have.
And then he had Sainz as a teammate as Verstappen was at Toro Rosso.
It was a huge wheel of teammates.
And then finally, ending it off, he got Sergio Perez,
the Mexican Minister of Defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's also basically trying to become public enemy number one. I mean, like what he said. What race was that where he said that?
USGP.
Was it the United States Grand Prix when he said that?
I'm pretty sure because that was where Daniel Mack was.
Oh yeah, like I remember him saying that. I'm like, come on, Max, don't be like that. Turn that frown upside down, boy.
Anyways, Ferrari staying with the same thing. Let's just hope their strategy is better.
Oh yeah, because I firmly believe if they had their strategy together, then they would be celebrating a championship right now. I genuinely think I'm not ashamed of it either.
And also, in the picture that they provided, they have Sainz and Leclerc sitting in the wrong seats.
Oh, well, that's perfect.
Because there's like a label on like the top of the windshield that says Leclerc Sainz, and Sainz is next to Leclerc, and Leclerc is next to Sainz.
That's just perfect.
That explains this year perfectly. No, actually, just see them both behind Sainz. They were both treated like the second driver. Except in the British Grand Prix, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we do not talk about what had happened.
Anyways, Mercedes, Hamilton, Russell, and potentially hasn't been announced yet, Schumacher as a reserve.
Oh, he's a reserve?
I said not been announced yet.
Oh,
What do you think about them keeping Hamilton for maybe one more year?
I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I think that would be an all right decision.
I think that Russell should be treated like the first driver, as he is the young one. I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it should be like a. What was it called? The 2021 story mode.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we'll
Where
probably
it's
see.
like Lewis Hamilton's Casper Ackerman and George Russell's Aiden Jackson.
Ackerman, Jackson. That campaign was pretty good.
And this, I'm not gonna say it. Nico Rosberg is Devin Butler to Lewis Hamilton.
Pretty much.
But to Russell, I think we all know who it is. Traditions.
Good old traditions.
But to Wolf, it's Horner.
It's probably like it's almost a copy of it. Might be seeing a reincarnation of it. History repeats itself, and it's
I'm actually okay. Not gonna lie, I'm hyped for the 2022 Drive to Survive.
Oh, I'm always looking forward to see what they'll
I didn't
hire.
like last year's, but I'm gonna love this year's. I know it because they're just gonna look at it's gonna be Ferrari for 90% of it.
Ferrari messing up every single time.
It's gonna be Ferrari and Max.
Pretty much. But I think they're also going to go into Mercedes struggles for a bit because they went like a whole season without a win, and then they finally got one, and it wasn't Hamilton. Hamilton had a winless season, to everyone's shocker, and to some people's disappointment.
And to some people's disappointment, people were like, "Wait, George won, but Hamilton didn't."
Yeah, and I think George outperformed Hamilton too.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure George did finish ahead in the standings. I didn't on the
Oh, he
checking it.
did. He did. Here, let me check just to be 100% sure.
Yeah, he got fourth. Hamilton got sixth.
I can no, the 5 drivers that beat him are Max, Charles, Sergio, George, and Carlos. They beat him.
Yeah, but Lewis also had double the points of Lando too.
Oh man.
Actually, almost exactly. If Hamilton had 4 more points.
I mean, it's a disappointing season for Mercedes. Enough said. That basically describes their season. It's disappointing.
Honestly. And next up, Alpine.
No more Alonso.
The true French team. 2 French drivers and a French manufacturer at a French team.
And that's why I like Alpine too. And plus,
I mean, you heard me say it. I was an Alpine fan last year.
I've been a fan of Alpine for about like a year, but it was mainly because I think they had like the coolest color scheme in all of Formula One. But then they like added a bunch of pink to it and got rid of it.
Oh no, the reason I liked
but I like Alonso.
Alpine was because it still had Ricardo blood in its veins.
True.
Before he left to McLaren this season, but I was like, nope, I'm still gonna stick with Alpine.
No, Alpine's Alpine's here.
I'll be here waiting. All right, Lando Norris, and finally, after the big wait and the big controversy with Alpine announcing him, Oscar Piastri, the Aussie, replacing the Aussie.
I'm looking forward to see what he could do, but obviously we gotta remember to not assume that he's gonna jump off, because I mean it's not the most powerful car on the grid, and he has a good teammate, a good young teammate in the form of Lando Norris.
A pretty young team actually. I just realized that because Lando's going into his 4th year of Formula One.
Yeah, he's in his 4th year, and here comes Oscar. I think having 2 young guys, with one of the young guys, that being Lando, having a little more experience, that can really rub off on Oscar, and then we can see how he performs. Is he going to perform instantly? I don't know. Well, we'll just have to find out. If I had money on it, I'd say he's not going to perform good instantly. But I
I
think
feel
with
like he's going to struggle in testing.
oh yes, agreed. Like testing is where well, obviously it gets it kicked off, ready to go, and that's when we'll start to see how, especially the new drivers, are going to perform when it comes to things like mechanical changes, rule changes, and the whole 9 yards. And when it comes to Oscar, like this is the big show. This is the big stage, and it's time to buckle down and get ready. Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with McLaren and Lando.
Next up, Alfa Romeo retaining Zhou Guanyu and Valtteri Traditions Bottas.
Yes, Zhou Guanyu, winner of the Rookie of the Year by default. I love that. Yeah, I mean,
It's Rookie of the Year Zhou Guanyu to you.
damn right.
I feel like Zhou Guanyu had a pretty decent season, but I think that crash in Silverstone really affected him.
Yeah.
Like after that crash, he was not the same driver we saw scoring like almost points every race until his car gave out.
Yeah, that pretty much explains it.
He was not the same driver, honestly.
No, that crash was horrific, and I think we can all agree on that. But
I
of course the
got
cars.
I'm not gonna lie. I had Hubert flashbacks.
Oh yeah, that I don't blame you for that. I was
Anyway,
thinking about Hamilton, or not Hamilton. Dan Weldon back in 2011.
I was thinking of two drivers, Bianchi and Hubert.
I could see that.
Bianchi's Suzuka incident, and then Antoine's 2019 Spa incident in F2.
The race in Suzuka this year, I mean, everyone was thinking about him, and
I'm
then
still
the
pissed that
tractor was out
Gasly's
there.
possibly going to get a race ban because they've refused to reset the penalty points at the end of the season.
I think the moment they brought that tractor out on that track during those horrible wet conditions, I think that was just asking for trouble. And they got it. They got a bunch of trouble. Pierre was understandably pissed. But yeah, but the safety of these cars have really, they've gotten so much better since.
Yeah, the fact that Zhou Guanyu was even able to survive that crash spoke volumes.
Yeah, he survived and he's still racing, and that's good.
He's not racing the same, but he's still racing.
Yeah, he's still out there. Better to be out there, but not as competitive than to be dead. I'd much rather be racing out there, but not be that competitive than dead.
I think anyone would say the same thing.
Absolutely. All right,
but,
what other team?
Aston Martin.
Yes. Aston Martin. Unfortunately, Seb is gone.
And
Seb.
I'm thinking that Lawrence is just giving Lance Stroll a drive with these legends.
I think the thing with Sir Lancelot is that he's become iconic for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, weaving on the straight at Austin.
Like I was
killing Fernando.
Like I think that he's gonna get some help from Fernando, but I mean it's still an Aston Martin.
They're not on good terms, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, they're not? Okay, well hell, never mind.
Especially after Austin.
Oh yeah, right. That wreck.
Where he weaved in a straight line, almost killing him.
Yeah, that I understand why he would be pissed off, but I think that's gonna be a huge problem, obviously, because and when it comes to
they're going to get terms before the start of the season, of course, because they're going to be teammates. They can't be Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton each other.
Yeah, because that was a mess. That was a huge, huge mess, and Aston Martin just cannot afford that. They don't have time for that. They got to get going because I mean they're already not the fastest car on that grid, not by a bit. They have to, and Seb's gone. They still have to deal with Lance and his meme existence. It's gotten to the point where anytime I see the word Stroll, I just think of Lance. I was playing the World at War campaign, and a guy named Private Stroll ran in front of me in 2 separate missions.
Did you have attempt to pull the trigger?
He got killed one mission, but then in the later mission, he just ran off. I didn't see him get shot or anything like that. But I was just sitting there. He's standing in front of me like Stroll, I need you to move so I could shoot at the bad guys. But no, he's just in the way.
Hey, that sounds like Lance.
Oh yeah, it kind of does sound like Lance. But yeah, I think to sum up Aston Martin, like if any issue between Alonso and Stroll needs to get resolved as soon as fucking possible. I mean, because if they don't, then it's going to be a miserable season. There'll be no teamwork, and if there's no teamwork, then there's not going to be good results.
Anyways, the next team is the team that you and I both know very well for kicking off a possible future world champion, Haas.
Haas F1.
Here's my theory with Mick, though. I feel like when Hamilton retires, Mick's getting that seat guaranteed.
Really?
Yeah, that's my theory with why Wolf is saying that he will be missed on the grid. He's saying that on purpose.
Could be. Could be something hinting towards some in the
Kevin
future.
Magnussen, the Viking, and Nico Hülkenberg.
Don't ever pronounce it like that again, please.
That's actually how it's supposed to be pronounced.
Well, that is how it's pronounced. Oh, shoot.
I'm referencing back to when Ricciardo used to make fun of it a lot.
Oh, God.
Nico Hülkenberg.
No, I couldn't do that.
These two have feud in the past, but Hülkenberg says that it's all in the past, that they're going to be fine, and Magnussen said the same thing. But everyone will continue playing that. If they have people say that if either of them have an incident with each other on the track, the "suck my balls, mate" clip is going to pop back up.
I'll say this about Haas: they're improving. They're no longer a full-on back of the pack team because I mean, after we saw with these regulation changes, we saw both Schumacher and Magnussen performing way more than people thought they were going to. And if they're basically leading up to 2022, they were basically they were Williams' partner in crime. They were just like the team that hangs out with them. The teams know one another very well because they're always next to one another. But seeing how they've performed, in 2022 with Magnussen getting that pole, Schumacher getting his first points, I mean, that can go a long way, and it can really build up more positive energy going into the 2023 season. So they're improving, no doubt about it. But it's a matter of if they can maintain that. Because if you can perform well in one season and then just forget about it the next season, then who the hell cares? Then people will just view it as a fluke. But if you can find a way to maintain it, then you're going to no longer be viewed as a fluke. You're going to be out there contending for middle of the pack and maybe even further up the pack. So I'd say the biggest challenge for Haas right now is probably going to be maintaining the energy from last season and trying to build off of it.
That is really true. I'm gonna be honest, that's like super true. No
one's ever said that.
Jericho, we're not accepting people speaking. It's a podcast, so.
All right. Well, it's 7:27. I have to go edit a lot more things.
Can we finish on the topic that we're on and then continue in another episode?
Yeah, sure.
AlphaTauri going with.
Oh yeah, AlphaTauri. Gotta talk about them.
Yuki. Oh, we still have Williams, of course.
I keep on forgetting Williams, dude. All right, go ahead.
AlphaTauri with Tsunoda and De Vries. I think De Vries is definitely going to have a lot of expectations, especially since he scored his first points before he even got a seat.
Yeah, he broke through and said, "Hey, check this out," and then he scored those points. And now, kind of like how I mentioned earlier in this episode with Jordan Bennington and putting him up on a pedestal, that's basically what we're gonna see here. They're gonna see. I'm very bad with.
He's going to live up to those expectations with how he's going to have to perform in an AlphaTauri.
Absolutely, because they're like the feeder team to Red Bull, so that's a huge responsibility in itself.
Yeah, true.
All right, and that
Williams,
team, I can't believe I forgot to mention.
Yeah, Williams with Albon and Sargent.
No more goat Tiffy, I see, which is already tragic.
Yep.
All the goat Tiffy memes are gone.
And no more synchronized spinning.
No more. All gone. That era is over. No more spinning out in the 2021. I'm gonna stop there actually. I don't want to piss off.
Vettel, as soon as Vettel retired, Latifi was probably like, "All right, I'm gonna get out of here now."
Yeah, I want to go home.
I think everyone's gonna be excited because everyone's like, "Oh, Sargent's the first American driver since 2015." Don't put him on a pedestal.
Do
He's in a
not.
Williams. Remember this. He's in the bottom of the league. He's at the bottom team,
Yeah.
and
And
he's
like
gonna have a lot of expectations with a similarly like it's another McLaren situation. You got a young, experienced driver with a very young, unexperienced driver.
it's a really interesting combination because it's kind of like I hate to be super like stereotypical here, but like a box of chocolate, you never know what you're gonna get, right? In this case, you're not gonna know what you're gonna get because you have someone who's been there for a while. They know how it works. They know how to drive very well in the Formula One car, and then you have Logan. So he's good in F2, obviously. Here he is in a Williams in Formula One. We don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do, and I'm going to be rooting for him, obviously, because he is from America. Um, and I say it's also good for Formula One in a way that Logan's
Yeah,
on the grid
PR.
because like they've been trying to win the American market over for some time now, and this might be one of their golden opportunities to do it.
I mean, WTF1 said that if they can get an American on the grid, that's going to be the most that America is going to pay attention to Formula One in a long time.
Pretty much, yeah. Unless and they're already having races in Vegas, and of course, Circuit of the Americas and Miami.
Unless they get like two drivers on the same team, I don't think that it's going to be a lot more, but it's definitely going to be a big amount of people coming in.
Yeah, because I mean, Drive to Survive, we got to give them credit, obviously. They've brought a lot of attention to Formula One. But when it comes to nations having a reason to watch it, America's a huge, basically like a huge challenge times 10. Because a huge majority of races that are happening, we're asleep or we're just now waking up, which is a huge, gut punch if you're trying to win over a market that's in that situation. But when you have someone to root for, that's not just a team that, is just now starting to really improve, then it's going to be difficult to win that market over. Because, I mean, like, for example, like, the reason why there's, like, baseball is popular where I live is because there's just a lot of teams here. You go up north, you have the two Chicago teams. You have St. Louis. You go west, you have Kansas City. Yeah, they're everywhere. But in the case of Formula One, like it's a worldwide thing. So you're not just winning cities over, you're winning countries over, you're winning continents over. And if you want to win the North American market or just even the United States market, things like that are basically your keys to doing it. And I know it sounds like I'm rambling, and I probably am. But if I would say this is huge for not only, Logan's career, but also for the American fans and probably for Formula One, because ultimately at the end of the day, they're going to make a lot of money off of this. Let's just be real. They're making a lot of money in revenue now because people in our country is going to pay more attention.
Mm-hmm. And I think the last thing I want to touch on is Formula One confirms 2023 Chinese Grand Prix will not take place due to COVID implications. What track do you think is going to replace it? Or do you think they're just going to leave it how it is and go with
Portugal.
it?
Portugal.
I mean, yeah, at least they're not like Turkey, who's bankrupt. Like, Turkey is a long ways away. But I hope, personally, Kailami. They have the money now. They've refined the track. It is a new surface, and they're ready. Go to South Africa. If you want it to be a worldwide sport, all continents, except Antarctica, because there's no civilization there, but every continent has to have a track, in my opinion.
Pretty much, yeah. Because, I mean,
so if you're going to
hosting
replace
these
China
races,
with anything, South Africa.
I mean, let's just be real. Hosting these races is not free. Like, it costs a lot to host these things.
Yeah, and Kailami has the money now. They were
They
bankrupt after the last one, but they got the money now.
They have the money to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
As of as of 5:14 p.m. yesterday, according to Sky Sports, they are still in discussions about a possible replacement, although they're not desperate to fill a 4-week gap.
Mm-hmm.
So it is possible that we just won't have a race for 4 weeks, which I hope not, because I love
But
races.
I think the actual solution's not going to be Portugal. It's not going to be Kyalami. It's going to be France. They're going to bring France back.
Yeah, because I mean, I when we were playing Formula One, I kept on making a mistake of, oh, I can't wait to see how we deal with France next year, and you kept on saying they're not racing in France next year, Jeff, you idiot. And I'm like, oh yeah, right, they're not.
I didn't call you idiot. Don't put me in that bad light.
No, I mean, okay, yeah, he didn't call me an idiot, but I'm gonna call myself an idiot because I messed that up like 5 times. But to sum it up, like, yeah, they've they're gonna have to really search for a replacement here. But like I said earlier, they are considering multiple locations for that slot, but they're also not. They're also like kind of okay with just not having a race for 4 weeks, which I hope they don't have that race. I mean, I hope they have. Nah, I can't speak. I hope that they fill that gap because I don't want to go 4 weeks without having to watch a race. And of course, yeah, Indycar will probably be back or NASCAR or whatever. But I mean, come on, I don't want to go 4 weeks without F1.
Anyways, I think the next podcast will cover Formula E. I think maybe tomorrow we get that done, since if you have time, of course.
Absolutely.
Formula E, NASCAR, of course. We have to touch on that.
Absolutely.
And I think definitely football. Definitely some, not football, but American.
Yeah, not football, spelled with a U. But like,
yeah,
American
I think American football, the NFL is definitely a topic we need to touch on.
Yeah,
especially since Deshaun Watson playing against his Browns.
Uh-oh. That ain't good.
Actually, no, he's playing on the Browns against the Texans.
Playing his old team.
Yeah, but the thing is, he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins anymore, so.
He doesn't, and that might be his kryptonite.
Yeah, the series might be the kryptonite, but we'll talk about that next episode. Thank you all so much for listening. I will go back in the recording and cut out that long gap of
oh God, yeah, please. I don't want to have
because I'm pretty sure it's probably awkward
in the background.
Like, oh, let me try to fill this in. So,
just out of nowhere, cuts in the middle. So, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah. Or maybe or maybe later on, and we have those pauses again, and we have sponsors, we could fill those in.
If we ever get a sponsor, don't know why we would, but I mean, if we
maybe once we make a half commitment to this podcast, because this is just a fun thing for now.
Yeah, we're sponsored by Mike's Hard Lemonade. Drink up, damn it.
I think
I'm drinking Mike's actually. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah, let me just go pop over the mics later.
I'm being dead serious. I'm holding it in my hand right now. It's a hard strawberry lemonade. Very refreshing. I recommend it.
Sponsored by Texas Instruments. I don't know why, but we are.
Texas Instruments.
Go to school, you uneducated fuck.
Suck it, Yamaha. All right. I love you, Yamaha. Please don't send people to my house.
Love you all. Thank you so much for coming in. Jeff, it's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Pleasure to talk to you as well.
And we will see y'all later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.